Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another short, spoiler free movie review. This week, we're talking about The Flash. So I saw it on Friday. I saw it opening day, I guess. They had done a bunch of free screenings like prior to that, like weeks earlier, which I didn't go to. But yeah, saw it Friday afternoon. It wasn't a packed theater. It was pretty full, but not totally packed. So it was decently full, I guess. But we're just going to get into this movie. I didn't love it. I feel it was basically like average at best. I think there was some stuff that worked for me in the movie. There was some stuff that didn't work. You saw the movie. It stars Ezra Miller, directed by I'm going to bring up his name because I'm probably going to mispronounce that director's name. But Andy Muschietti. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. But it ties into kind of the DCEU. I think it's supposed to be somewhat based on the Flashpoint comic book or comic arc. I don't never read Flashpoint. I was never really been a huge fan of Flash. I mean, I think the character works best as a like supporting character. I don't think it's the Flash could really carry a movie on his own. Um, and I think that's why they kind of pulled in all these other characters to kind of help with that. They also probably pulled these other actors in and actresses in to kind of just shield the movie from Ezra Miller, I guess. Um, there was like marketing pushes where it says like literally I remember reading a headline where it said like this movie is so good you'll forget Miller's like crimes or terrible behavior, which I think that just probably at least for the uninformed made them informed that his behavior was terrible. I kind of already knew about that from various like articles and what have you. Um, but yeah, the movie isn't very good. I liked it. I will say I liked it more than Thor: Love and Thunder and Ant Man and the Wasp and Quantum Mania. I think it's a little bit better than those, but it's still not very good. Like the first whole, like I want to say, so this will be a spoiler-free review. I will probably cover stuff that's in the trailers. So if you haven't seen the trailers, it might be slightly a spoiler, but anything that I kind of discuss is stuff that is presented in the trailer. So basically, it's very slow. I want to say up to like the halfway point. You have Ezra Miller playing two different characters of the same, two different versions of Barry Allen. One is kind of just more like I guess the normal version of Barry Allen. One is the kind of the word I'm looking for is like the obnoxiousness, I guess, is just dialed up way too high. The That version of Barry Allen is just super annoying. I think that was intentional, but I didn't really love it. The movie doesn't really start picking up until we get the stuff of Michael Keaton, and that was kind of the driving factor of what made me want to see it, because Michael Keaton was aside from Adam West, was the first Batman that I saw on the big screen. Never saw Adam West on the big screen, but I would watch him on like the '60s Batman on like reruns back in the '80s, and really like those. But I remember seeing Michael Keaton in the original Batman when it premiered when I was like 9 years old, and then saw Batman Returns a few years later. And those movies I think are still very good. I saw Batman Returns somewhat recently in theaters within like the last like 6 months. There's like a local theater that played Batman Returns, and it was still a lot of fun. So if Michael Keaton wasn't in the movie, I probably wouldn't have seen it. And I use the AMC A-List subscription service where it's like $22 a month and you can see 3 movies a week. I use that. This isn't promoted or sponsored by them anyway, but I use that and I see movies on that I probably would not actually bother to pay for if I was paying out of pocket. This would definitely be one of the movies that I would, if I had to pay to see it, I wouldn't. I would just wait for it to come to like a streaming or something like that. But the movie does start picking up a little bit toward the middle when we introduce Batman, and then Supergirl is in the movie as well, or a version of Supergirl, I should say. So I think the stuff with Batman and Supergirl was definitely the best stuff in the movie, and the action toward like the close to the end of like the I want to say like the third act, but the third act is kind of like it's really weird because it's like the first half of the movie is slow. They get up to Batman, and it gets better, and then about 20 minutes, about maybe 20, maybe 15, 20 minutes left of the movie, it just goes back to being really bad again and just weird. I'm sure if you've read about some of the stuff that was leaked or talked about, you maybe have already seen this. But there was just stuff in there that just didn't make a lot of sense at all. It was like it felt like it was fan servicey, but also just like the worst kinds of fan service that you can probably think of. It didn't really fit the movie at all. Like when a movie does fan service well, it's like really well done. This just felt like they were literally cramming in all this stuff. I can't really say what that stuff is without kind of spoiling it, but it was just crammed in so badly that it felt very forced, and also like I don't even know if the general audience is going to know who even half of these people actually are that and what have you. If you read the leaks, you'll know what I'm talking about. But and then the end of the movie, it just felt like almost like there was no consequences for what happened. Because like I can kind of go into the basic plot line is because it's in the trailer. Is Barry Allen basically wants to go back in time to prevent his mother from dying, and then that somehow creates a thing where there's like no superheroes or something like that, or they're like definitely like much less of them. So that's in the trailer, but I don't think the character of the Flash works very well. There's scenes in the movie that um, it's like there's a scene where like stuff is happening and Flash is moving very fast, and the stuff around them is happening slowly, and it's kind of like a chain reaction kind of thing, and it just reminded me of the two older X Men films, which are Days of Future Past and X Men Apocalypse, where that stuff was just much better done, much better executed with the Quicksilver character. Um, I just feel like the Flash is kind of like a boring character, and I really hope that with James Gunn taking over at DC, that they can just get rid like I don't know if he's planning on keeping any of these people around, but I would just say like just dump everything out and start over, because at this point I think DC it just it's become a mess. I mean, like I remember like I think there's like maybe like a few DC movies in this DCEU that I liked. I liked the first Man of Steel. I thought that was fun. I thought the first Wonder Woman was really good. Um, I thought Black Adam was entertaining. It wasn't very good, but it was. This is Black Adam is actually better than this, in my opinion. Um, Black Adam was like not great, but better than this. Um, I definitely feel that this was better than Ant Man and Thor, but those are like some of the like not some of the like Marvel's like worst films. I think where I was remember talking or reading somewhere about comic book movie fatigue, and then I think it's actually just bad movie fatigue at this point for me, because I saw Love and Thunder, didn't like it. Saw Ant Man and the Wasp, didn't like that, or Quantumania, I should say, didn't like that at all. I actually felt it could have been even worse than Love and Thunder. It was just a boring Ant Man movie. And then Guardians of the Galaxy 3 comes out, and I really like that. I did a review for that here as well. And then different studio, but then they Across the Spider-Verse came out, and I think Across the Spider-Verse is like probably it's my favorite movie this year, and it's just an amazing film. It's beautifully animated, and so I don't think I'm having superhero fatigue. I think it's just bad movie fatigue at this point, or bad comic book movie fatigue, if to make it more specific. But yeah, like the Flash, it just didn't work for me. The stuff that worked okay. Like the stuff with Batman and Supergirl was probably the highlight for me. I think Michael Keaton did a good job, and let me bring up the thing here. Yeah, it looks like Sasha Cali, or I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. She played Supergirl in the movie, and I think this is the first film that I've seen her in. She's done some other stuff, but this is like the first thing that I've like seen her in, and I think she was pretty good in that. They brought Michael Shannon back. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen Man of Steel, but I don't remember if he just seemed like he was bored. It reminded me a little bit of John Malkovich's performance in, I want to say it was Jonah Hex, where he just felt like he was reading lines. I know Michael Shannon, I think, recently came out saying that he wasn't excited to play Zod again. But I don't remember if his performance in Man of Steel kind of is like matches up with this, like just like the like his energy level and just like it just looks like he's there. He's just like doesn't really care. I mean, like, and why would he? Right? It's a not a very good movie. Man of Steel is definitely much better than this. It's probably one of the worst of these DC movies that I've seen. I don't know if it's worse than Wonder Woman 1984. That there was just a lot of problems with that where they had extra time because of the pandemic to like fix some of the CGI. The CGI just looked terrible. Um, but it's the Flash is definitely in that same conversation of just like really bad DC movies. Like I said, there were parts that I enjoyed, like the action in like the second half of the movie was good when Keaton was around doing his thing. It definitely like brought back memories of seeing the first two Batman movies, and I definitely think that was Warner Brothers' point was to basically they're like, hey, we have a really bad movie here. We need to kind of like incentivize people to see this. And apparently, it's not making a ton of money. Apparently, it costs like something like over like with like something like $200 million. It will definitely probably be a box office failure at that point, based on I think anybody that wanted to see the movie either saw it for free with the with Warner's doing their free screenings, or they saw it this past weekend. And I think just the drop off from this week to next week is going to be just insane. But like I said, there's bits I like, bits I didn't like. It's a little below average, maybe. But so that's going to do it for this video. Let me bring up my final score here for The Flash. I'm going to be giving it a 5 out of 10. It's just kind of like in the middle. I've seen much better superhero films. Of course, like even just this year, we had Guardians 3. We had Across the Spider-Verse. But there's definitely some superhero movies that I've seen that I liked less. So we'll just see what comes next. I know Blue Beetle is the next one, and I probably won't be seeing that. Like, I'm not really super familiar with the character, and I consider myself to be somewhat knowledgeable with most of the comic book stuff that comes out. But I'm not super excited for Blue Beetle. Saw the trailer, and it just looks like your basic, like kid fine gets super, like your very generic kid just gets superpowers and film. Like a lot of the stuff that you see in these movies where they get their powers and they don't know how to control them and they do a bunch of stupid stuff. It looks like that. So I probably, unless reviews are really good or something like that, but I'm thinking they probably won't be. But that's going to do it for this video. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll be back again with another movie review at some point. I think the next big one is probably Indiana Jones. I'll be seeing that, and I'll definitely be doing a video for that one. I don't know if we're going to be seeing anything between now and then, but when I do, those movie reviews will be up here as well. So thanks again for watching. Take care. Have a good one. See ya.